You know that feeling when you tell yourself just one more chip and suddenly the entire bag is gone? Yeah, that wasn't your fault. You were literally fighting against a team of scientists with PhDs in neuroscience whose only job is to make sure you can't stop eating. Today, I'm exposing how your favorite foods are scientifically engineered to hijack your brain. And fair warning, after this video, you're gonna be mad at your local McDonald's. But real quick, if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button right now. And I'm serious about this. Turn on the notification bell, because the stuff I'm about to reveal, food companies do not want you knowing this, and YouTube might bury this video. So turn on notifications right now so you don't miss the next one. All right, let's dive in. Okay, so here's where it starts. Food scientists discovered something called the Bliss point. And no, that's not the moment you finally find a parking spot at Walmart. It's way more sinister. The Bliss point is the exact ratio of salt, sugar, and fat that makes your brain release the maximum amount of dopamine. You know dopamine, right? That's the chemical your brain releases when something feels really good, like when you finally sit down after standing all day, or when your crush texts you back. That feeling? That's dopamine. Now here's the problem. Food companies figured out that if they hit that exact combination, not too sweet, not too salty, not too fatty, but perfectly balanced, your brain goes absolutely insane. And they don't just guess, they spend millions of dollars testing thousands of different combinations to find your personal bliss point. Let me give you an example. Doritos. You think Doritos just happen to taste that good? Nah, Doritos has 27 ingredients, not for nutrition, not for flavor variety, but to engineer the perfect combination that makes your brain scream more, more, more. And here's the crazy part. Once they find your bliss point, they make sure to stop just before you feel satisfied. That way, you keep reaching back into the bag thinking, okay, one more will do it. Spoiler alert, it won't. All right, let's talk about what's actually happening in your brain when you eat a Big Mac or crush a bag of Lay's. When you bite into processed food, your brain releases dopamine, same chemical released by cocaine, same chemical released when you gamble and win, same chemical released when you check your phone and see notifications. Your brain literally can't tell the difference between eating Cheetos and doing drugs. I'm not exaggerating. Scientists have done brain scans. The same areas light up. But here's where food companies get really sneaky. They don't just want to give you dopamine. They want to give you dopamine fast, then take it away fast, so you crash and immediately crave more. Think about it. You eat one Oreo, feels amazing, right? That's the dopamine spike. But 2 minutes later, that feeling is gone. And now your brain is like, wait, where'd that good feeling go? I need another one. So you eat another Oreo and another. And suddenly you've eaten 12 Oreos and you're sitting there like, how did this happen? This is the same cycle that makes people addicted to slot machines, social media, and yes, junk food. It's not a coincidence, it's design. Now let me blow your mind with this one. Ever notice how Cheetos kind of disappear in your mouth? Like you chew them and they just melt instantly. That's not an accident. That's called vanishing caloric density. And yes, that's a real term that food scientists actually use. Here's how it works. When food melts in your mouth quickly, your brain doesn't register that you actually ate anything. Even though you just consumed like 150 calories in that handful of Cheetos, your brain is sitting there like, I didn't really eat much, better grab some more. It's the ultimate scam. You're eating tons of calories, but your brain thinks you're eating nothing. So you keep going and going and going. This is why you can eat an entire family-sized bag of Cheetos and still not feel full. Your stomach is screaming, stop, we're full, but your brain is like, nah, we barely ate anything. Meanwhile, if you tried to eat the same number of calories in, say, chicken breast and broccoli, you'd be stuffed after 3 bites, because real food doesn't pull this vanishing act. Real food stays in your mouth. Your brain registers it. You feel full. End of story. But Cheetos? Nah. They disappear like a magic trick, and your brain falls for it every single time. All right, next trick, sensory-specific satiety. Big words, simple concept. Your brain gets bored of flavors. If you eat plain chicken every day for a week, by day 3, you're gonna be like, I never wanna see chicken again. That's sensory-specific satiety. Your brain is telling you to stop because it's tired of that flavor. But food companies hate when you stop eating. So what do? They layer multiple flavors into one food so your brain never gets bored. Think about a McDonald's Big Mac. How many flavors are hitting your tongue at once? You've got sweet, the buns have sugar, the sauce is sweet. Salty, the pickles, the meat. savory, the beef, the cheese, sour, the pickles again, and umami, that savory, meaty flavor from the sauce. Your brain is getting hit with 5 different flavor profiles at the same time, so it never gets bored. It never says, okay, I'm done, because every bite feels different, even though you're eating the same thing. This is why you can eat 3 McDonald's, but you can't eat 3 plain baked potatoes. The potato is one flavor. Your brain taps out. But the Big Mac, your brain is too confused and entertained to tell you to stop. And here's the kicker. Combination pizzas. You know, those pizzas with like 7 toppings? Scientists found that people eat more pizza when there are multiple toppings because their brain can't figure out when to stop. Each bite tastes slightly different, so your brain thinks it's eating new food and keeps going. You're not weak, you're being tricked.
Okay, this next one is going to make you laugh because it's so obvious once you hear it. You know how chips are loud? That crunch sound when you bite into them. Yeah, that's engineered too. Scientists discovered that people eat more when food makes noise. The louder the crunch, the more you eat. Why? Because your brain associates the sound with freshness. If it's crunchy, it must be fresh. If it's fresh, it must be good. Better eat more. Food companies literally spend money engineering the perfect crunch. Not too soft, not too hard, just loud enough to trick your brain into thinking you're eating something amazing. This is why chips, crackers, fried chicken, and French fries are so addictive. They sound good, and your brain falls for it every single time. Fun fact, Pringles even designed their chips to make a specific sound frequency when you bite them. They tested hundreds of prototypes to find the crunch that made people eat the most. And guess what? It worked. You've been sonically manipulated by a potato chip. So who's behind all this? Let's name names. Companies like Frito-Lay, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Nestle, Kraft, these aren't just food companies, they're neuroscience labs. They hire psychologists, neuroscientists, and sensory experts whose entire job is to make you addicted. There's literally a position called food scientist where your entire career is designing products that people can't stop eating. And they're good at it, like scary good. McDonald's spent years perfecting the ratio of salt on their fries. KFC has a secret recipe that's designed to hit multiple flavor profiles at once. Coca-Cola's formula is locked in a vault because it's that valuable. And the craziest part? They know this stuff is addictive. Internal documents from these companies show they literally use the word craveability in their research. Not delicious, not tasty, craveability. As in, how do we make people crave this even when they're not hungry? They're not trying to feed you, they're trying to hook you.
Okay, so what do you do with this information? First, don't beat yourself up. If you can't stop eating junk food, it's not because you're weak, it's because you're fighting against literal neuroscience. Second, awareness is half the battle. Now that you know these tricks, you can catch yourself. When you reach for that second handful of chips, pause and ask, am I actually hungry or am I being tricked by my dopamine? Third, eat real food. Foods that don't come in shiny bags with 47 ingredients. An apple doesn't have a bliss point. Grilled chicken doesn't vanish in your mouth. Your brain knows how to regulate real food. It's the fake stuff that breaks the system. And finally, don't keep this stuff in your house. Seriously, if it's not there, you can't eat it. Out of sight, out of mind. Or in this case, out of pantry, out of stomach. So there you have it. The science of addictive food and why you can't stop eating. Not because you're lazy, not because you have no self-control, but because billion-dollar companies spent decades engineering food to hijack your brain. If this video made you mad, good. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and share this with someone who needs to know, because the food industry doesn't want this getting out. I'll see you in the next one. Stay aware, stay healthy, and maybe put down the Doritos.